Hello. What is up? Boom! Hello and welcome everybody to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner. I go by Blind Run on the internet and Matthew in real life. And yes, today we're going to be talking about Twitter drama. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about incentive alignments for cryptocurrency influencers, of which I am one, and my thoughts behind it, because I've been noticing essentially a trend across not just cryptocurrency, but essentially all industries. And I want to address, obviously, the elephant in the room that we have been talking about over on Twitter, which is going to be basically the ethics and incentive structures behind cryptocurrency mining channels, YouTube channels in particular, as well as how that's having an effect on the market. And of course, I'm going to go over some replies, etc., and give you guys my thoughts and opinions on all of it. But that won't be all today. We are going to also be talking about Coin, as I realized I didn't actually watch the response video from Brandon Coin, so we're going to be taking a look at that response video and responding to that in particular, as well as the future of Coin, because I think it's important to note, everything that's going on with it. I can say things like, hey, take a look at the fully diluted value. It's obviously unsustainable, and why. And we're going to be talking about that more in general. I'm also going to be talking about WhoSat's roadmap, their new roadmap that just came out for 2025. In particular, I wanted to talk about him addressing the crypto mining community, or the cryptocurrency community in general. And I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on what is considered price manipulation and what is not considered price manipulation when we're talking about cryptocurrency and the developers. And then we're going to be talking about, well, more of that, which is Clore AI burning 25% of their total supply. And then we have some miner news, obviously some public miner news. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin miner Bitfarm securing some more loans to build essentially high-powered compute. And we're going to be talking about Trump-affiliated crypto mining venture as well. So Trump is getting into cryptocurrency mining. Will that be good or bad for the industry in general? We also have Caspa's Crescendo fork, or basically out, getting ready to go into effect on May 5th. We're going to be taking a look at that. And then we will be talking about GameStop, their acquisition of Bitcoin and their new strategy as far as that is concerned. We also have updates from Janus Miner with Warthog. We also have some interesting turn of events on retirement funds as well. And then I have a couple more reaction videos we're going to be taking a look at the end of the stream. So thanks everybody for being here. Let's go ahead and say hello to Owen. Thanks for stopping in. Nakudo, thanks for stopping in. Legendary, good to see you here. Nerd, good to see you here. We got Spec Mining up in the house. That's a new name to me, so shout out, my friend, for stopping in. If this is your first live stream or first time I've noticed you, welcome. We also have Integra Guy, a regular on the channel. Thanks for being here. 10 minutes to midnight. Thanks for stopping in. Hadriano, thanks for stopping in. And Andrew Jones stopping in. Thank you, good sir. Have I watched the Switch 2 premiere? No, but I can add that to the reaction if you want me to at the end of the show. We'll take a look at that and see what's going on with the Switch 2. I know I had thought it would be NVIDIA, so it'll be interesting to see what parts they are coming out with in the future. Now, Legendary in chat said, supposed to go to dinner with the wife. How do I tell her this is more important? You don't. You go to dinner with her, and then you watch the VOD of this later, or one of the various clips that we'll have sorted on down the line. I am starting to have a lot of, so for those of you that are not aware, I have something called ankylosing spondylitis. And just so you guys know kind of where I'm at with that, my treatment quit working. So essentially the treatments I'm on, which are biologics, kind of hit a pause button on the progression of the disease. The disease is back in full progression. And because of the timing of the way biologics work, I'm not allowed to start the next biologic for a month. So my disease is in full progression. I tell you that just to let you know that, like, time in sitting down, all that sort of stuff, very difficult for me. On top of that, I've been getting claw hands, so on the left side of things, so I haven't even been able to game a lot. Basically, every day I wake up for about 4 hours, my hand's kind of stuck like this, essentially, and I just kind of have to massage each one out. Sucks really bad. The SI joint's obviously fusing again, which hurts really bad as well. So, hopefully I can continue to do content, etc. But it's obviously impacting my work as well. And I know that's like a touchy subject of like, well, you know, if I can stream, can I do that? And what can I do? All that sort of stuff. It's all up in the air right now. So trying to work that out. But all that aside, let's go ahead and hop into the first topic of the night. I posted this the other day because basically, obviously, with everything I'm going through, I have a lot of time to sit up at night and think. I can't do a lot of things, but I can think a lot. And I've thought about my cryptocurrency journey and cryptocurrency mining journey over the past, almost decade now at this point, going on a decade in the cryptocurrency mining space. And one of the big things that, comes up with me in general is like, how well am I handling my position as, I guess you could say a thought leader. I don't like to put myself on that pedestal, but whatever. We all know that that's what I am. I'm a thought leader in the cryptocurrency mining space, especially as it pertains to YouTube and content creation, etc. I know a lot of people look at what I'm doing or have in the past looked at what I'm doing to shape, of course, what they do on their own channels and how they build their channels. A lot of that's changed. Obviously, I've been surpassed by a lot of other content creators that do a lot of things better. And then I've had others that I've surpassed and so on. And the market's always shifting and whatnot. I'm always trying to figure out, what am I okay with what I've done? over the past few years? What am I not okay with? And what do I see in the industry that's having a positive impact, and what things are happening that are like negative impacts? And this was where this post really came from in general. And I do have like a lot of nuance surrounding it. I have a lot of things. Look, elephant in the room, it's not very fun when you're saying things that you know are going to upset other individuals in the space. It's not a fun thing to address, period. Nobody wants to do that, right? You don't want to step on toes or burn bridges, etc. But at the same time, I want to be true to myself and tell you guys what I actually think about it, and not just sit there and, be a fence sitter at the end of the day, right? So that's kind of my thought process behind all of it. And here's what I said. I said, crypto mining is facing a massive crisis. Not too long ago, I had a conversation with a young, impressionable male. He was really into cryptocurrency mining and watching content. He wanted to be like the big cryptocurrency mining YouTubers. He bought the shitcoin miners. He mined and held the Caspa, the Lithium, and so on. He has lost so much money listening to these content creators and trying to be like them. These creators make money off the sale of the miners. Without the affiliate revenue, they would be completely broke. They have no clue how to be successful in mining. Now, I want to be clear. I think I made this a little too harsh. I don't think that this is true across the board. But it is very clear that we have a lot of people that, the clickbait is, I shut off my farm, I turned it back on, I shut off my farm, I turned it back on. This is kind of like the latest thing to do within the cryptocurrency YouTube space. And the question is who's able to sit up and without any affiliate revenue and all that sort of stuff, maintain a profitable cryptocurrency mining venture? And I would say by and large, a lot of cryptocurrency YouTube mining influencers are not capable of doing this. And I'll be completely frank, I have failed at this and had to restart it multiple times as well. So it's me too, right? And I've luckily been able to see some things, in the past, as far as the Caspa miners is a great example in my particular position, where I shifted from, doing really well off of Caspa speculative mining into investing into Bitcoin miners, because I kind of saw the writing on the wall for it. But I don't think that, and what I noticed is when all of that Caspa, and this is where that really kind of, this whole thought process began, right? Was the fact that we had a ton of influencers moving into selling cryptocurrency mining equipment for Caspa in particular. Now, I did have, and we actually have it back here to be completely transparent, Ice River did, not under any contract or anything, but Ice River did send me a KS0 Pro in exchange for making content. I did make a short on it. And I didn't have like glowing things to say about it in particular. So obviously, that on top of not really wanting to pursue that with the direction of my channel in particular, I didn't continue anything on with them. And that will be important, obviously, as we talk about this more. So complete transparency as far as that is concerned, right? But let's go ahead and hop into it more. I say that they cover it up with statements like not financial advice, or justify it by saying it's just for fun and they can afford to lose it. I've seen multiple content creators with this perspective. Now, in the past, I have utilized the statement not financial advice as kind of a coverall, right? That's a cover your ass statement. And it is there is an argument for that having to be stated at all times for all types of potentially financially related projects. It's something that people say to essentially cover their ass and not get in trouble. In the case that somebody follows what they said to do and then loses money, they obviously don't want to be caught in a lawsuit. The thing is that when this is said, it should, in general, and I'm just saying, raise a red flag as an audience member if these kinds of statements are being utilized, because it is basically telling you right off the bat that they don't want to get in trouble if you lose money, which means what is there? Well, there's obviously a potential for you to lose money in that particular case. And so I went on to say that they show you the solo Bitcoin blocks to emotionally manipulate you into purchasing a lotto miner with their promo codes. And this is something that's been happening a lot as well. I do have a BitX. Once again, I made a short on it. And these are mistakes that I have personally made that, looking back, I wish I wouldn't have even done a short on the Caspa miner or the Bitcoin solo miner, because the more I think about them, and the more I think deeply about what kind of a cause and effect that has on the viewers of the channel, the more I regret, having put any of that up. Now, is it the worst thing in the world? No, I think there's way worse things being done within cryptocurrency in general, but I don't want to just gloss over the fact that these things are happening, because it is causing, at least from what I have been experiencing from getting emails and DMs from people, not usually in relation to my videos, but other content creators' videos, that they have gone in really heavy and then gotten financially ruined by, making large purchases of this equipment. And I think it's a really dangerous thing, and it needs to be addressed so that it is out in the open, right? So what I want to do is I want to shine light on it so that people are at least aware of what the game is that's going on. Now, I've told you guys before, I get asked this a lot. Should I buy a Bitcoin lotto miner? And my answer is, frankly, no. Like, should you buy a lotto ticket? If the answer to that is no, then the answer to buying a Bitcoin lotto miner is also a no. It's a completely random chance. You have no guarantee of revenue. It is not what you do as a cryptocurrency miner. Cryptocurrency mining should be, in my humble opinion, even if it's home mining, it should be viewed as a business venture. You should be having cost basis, profit analysis, all this sort of stuff done so that you can actually run it as a viable venture. And that's my opinion on this in general. So I don't like this whole I just do it for fun aspect of it, because I think it becomes, well, frankly, gambling. And I think a lot of people get hurt when it is in this manner, right? So I did go on to address my issues, right? I've addressed 2 of them already, but I say I regret some of the affiliate promotions I have done in the past. I was young and dumb and fell into a few. I really didn't see the problem much because I was focused on GPU mining, so a Dogecoin ASIC here and there seemed harmless. But it is the most harm, not because the project is bad or even that the manufacturer is bad, or I do want to clarify that the content creator is bad, but in some cases, one or all are, but because the incentive structure is aligned to encourage sales over fundamentals. And here's where the key indicator is for this in general. It's that when you set up an affiliate program, what you're setting up is an opportunity for influencers to make money off the sale of the miners, right? And the thing is when you are essentially making money off the sales of the miners, then your customer no longer are the people watching your channel, but you are essentially having the manufacturers of the miners as your customer. So as a viewer, you should be aware essentially that when this happens, you effectively have the customer being the manufacturer of the miners and not you, the viewer. And if you understand that and everybody is aware of that, then I think the power dynamic shifts. And what I want to see is a power dynamic shift back into the hands of the people that are participating within mining, the miners themselves, right? We've seen miners basically over the past cycle essentially lose a lot of influence over the cryptocurrency market. Some of this has been due to, of course, the shift to proof of stake for Ethereum and the rise of proof of stake in general. Some of it has been because large power cooperatives and companies are effectively taking over the entire market. And I think that when you take a look at that and understand that miners are losing the influence over cryptocurrency in general, that you also start to realize that that is messing with the entire incentive structure of cryptocurrency as a whole. And then you have to question, like, is cryptocurrency holding to the fundamentals that it was originally intended for? And my argument would be it would be moving away from that in general, right? So that's kind of how I think about it. But let's go ahead and continue on. So I said, this is why I changed my incentive structure to subscriptions, because it aligns my incentive with the audience and not the coins or the miners. Hence obviously the locals over here. There were two things that I did, and I had already started moving towards this, obviously. And the reason I did it initially is because I needed additional revenue. Not going to lie, that's what I did it for. But I also didn't want to be dependent on companies that could potentially influence my opinion. There is a third reason to why we increased the cost of it. That was done because the spec mines were flooding cryptocurrencies, but that's an entire other subject that we could go into and has been covered in detail on locals. So that is how I decided to change away from sponsorships in general. And then I said that then we get into paid coins. So I do want to talk about that, but we'll address some of the chat in general. Retro Mike is trolling over here. I want to say thanks for the $50 super chat from Man Cave Tech. Thanks for everything you do, and cheers. Cheers to you as well, good sir. I did see a deep meditation exercise that says, why are you coming clean? Well, the fact is I'm not so much coming clean as I'm making it clear what we did, right? Like what's being done. I think that as far as affiliate marketing, when you get into YouTube, okay, so there's two things going on here. There's the cryptocurrency mining side of things, and then there's the YouTube side of things. YouTube, by and large, is essentially a platform for people to sell products on. That's effectively what it's turned into. So as a YouTuber, when you get into doing YouTube and you start going to, let's say, like the YouTuber meetups, etc., the first thing that they kind of get you into is affiliate marketing. They're like, if you're going to have a YouTube channel, this is what you need to do. You need to find companies that have products that align with your target audience, and then you need to basically court them, and then you need to sell items to them. And this is how you make money to run a YouTube channel. And on the face of it, nothing seems completely wrong with that until you get into the aspect of crypto in general, because as opposed to, let's say, like a standard tech channel, which there are still issues with this, or a video gaming channel or whatever it is. And we could go into, like, I have a whole theory on like why we're experiencing worse and worse products based off of this, etc. But when you're selling a product like, let's say, a GPU to a gamer, you're selling a product to do a purpose. It performs that purpose, and then it's good to go. When you're selling a financial product like a cryptocurrency miner, you're selling something with the expectation of making money. And that is, well, by and large, more and more not the case when people take on these sponsorships, right? They basically are selling items that are not ending up fulfilling their use case in the first place, which is one problem. But the second problem is that it is not a product that's fulfilling a specific purpose that's outside. It's directly tied to a financial product, right? And so I think, like we've talked about, this has been being talked about a lot in the, I guess, what would you call it? Like the MAGA influencer space. And I've been listening to people talk about that lately, where they are taking on financial product advertisements. And there's a lot more it's a lot more regulated than, say, every other affiliate form. And those regulations aren't applied to cryptocurrency. So it's a little bit of a gray area, right? Where and if you are new to the space and you don't understand any of this, right? You're going to make these mistakes or maybe not even see that there's a problem in general. And so what I'm seeing is that there's a problem, right? And what is the problem? Well, a lot of people are losing money off of this with expectations of being able to be financially free, or it's kind of that the guise of it, right, is like, quit your 9 to 5, mine cryptocurrency, retire your, and I get a lot of its memes and whatever. But there are people that think that that's really what they're going to get out of doing these things, and that's not really necessarily the case. So I want to make it like abundantly clear to people that are coming into the space that this is something that's going on, right? Now, one of the big problems I really do have is with cryptocurrency channels that take payment in the form of the coin that they're promoting or reviewing. And the reason for this is that you're actually getting paid out in the cryptocurrency that you are promoting. And I think from an ethics perspective, this is completely wrong and abominable. The miners, I understand, because you're selling a physical product that's going to a customer. It does what it says it's going to do. It hashes it X amount for X amount of power, and you are actually getting a product. In the case of reviewing a cryptocurrency project in return for the pay in the cryptocurrency itself, you basically you introduce a lot of ethical questions surrounding when should you sell, how long should you hold, should you talk about it good or bad? And once again, this is an incentive structure problem. So let's go ahead and get into it, because I did go pretty hard on this one. I said I have never once even considered that personally, which is, okay. Don't even get me started on creators that are paid with coins from the blockchains they are reviewing. I have never once even considered that personally, and that's because it is so obviously wrong that I don't think there is any defensible reason to get paid to review a cryptocurrency. I felt bad or nervous to stand again because I wanted to work with other creators and be friendly. It's also hard that when I have brought it up, people attack me very cruelly, and I do care what people think. We could have a whole tangent on that, but that's not in this post. There's these things that I have experienced in life that because I am very empathetic, I get guilted into not speaking up against things that are wrong. Now, obviously, I am having my own therapy session here, so bear with me. And once again, we could go on a tangent there as well. Some things in my personal life have tested this recently very thoroughly, and this is my conclusion. I will no longer work with creators, YouTubers, influencers who accept sponsorships or payments to review coins or blockchains. I will also talk about them when they are doing it. I think it is important for people to know if that is the case. Additionally, I have decided that I will no longer tiptoe around the topic of ASIC affiliates. I've gotten way too many messages of stories from people who bought Caspa miners, for example, that no longer have their life savings. Sure, there is personal accountability, and of course, I could go on a tangent once again. Suffice to say, there is also influencer responsibility, which I spelled incorrectly there, but if you are an individual that is impacted negatively by these promotions, I would like to hear from you, and you can email me at inquiry@sonofatech.com. I encourage you guys to do so. I have also had you guys, I have a lot of messages. I'm going to be making a video about this because I want people to hear the side of the stories that aren't successful. It's extremely easy to be successful and be like, I'm a millionaire in crypto, when you are getting paid in the crypto to make YouTube content about it. And this means, of course, that people will see you with all of this money in your crypto wallet, and you're now a crypto millionaire, and you no longer work a 9 to 5. And emotionally, they are immediately compromised because they want to be in the position that you are in. And you are taking advantage of them emotionally to influence them to buy a coin that you didn't even buy yourself. You got given that coin by a developer or a project, and then you are influencing other people to buy it. And it is absolutely fucking disgusting. It just is. because you are essentially stealing from them. You're selling them a cryptocurrency that has no promise of utility in a lot of cases, that has no guarantee of going up, that you didn't buy, and then those people are paying you, and that's only because you made a video and you got paid in that currency. It's not okay. Now, this is a very hard line in the sand for me at the end of the day. And there are content creators that I've worked with in the past that have, gone around and tried to tippy-toe around it and justify it over and over and over again, but none of the justifications are okay. Your friend Andy, for example, told me that he holds it for at least 6 months before he sells it. Not okay, right? When I talked about Vosscoin getting paid to do KY, Vosscoin and his wife immediately attacked me, trying to emotionally guilt me into not even covering the video, which I didn't even say anything negative about them. All I said was, hey, this is what's happening. People are getting paid to cover cryptocurrencies. So no, I don't think that in particular these two cases are okay. Now, as far as selling a product and having an affiliate code, I think in general, there are probably cases in which it's okay. I will no longer do it because I think that it's a little too sketchy in general. And I'm actually sitting here with this CMP 175 that Coastal sent over. Now, I don't have any contract with them. I technically have an affiliate code. Those are linked down below. You guys are very aware of them. But I wanted to do a water cooling thing. I'll be discussing, if I need to pay them for this or how I want to handle it in the future. Because I am definitely shifting the way I want to handle this. Okay. I just think, especially with the way cryptocurrency currently is and the market that is currently in, I realize that there's this whole thing of, so let's address some comments. Let's just get into comments. Okay. Matt from Viper said, I'm proud to see someone with as much influence stating this out loud. I worry about the repercussions of it. This isn't new. It's just become painfully obvious because there are no mining profits to be had right now. And obviously a big issue with a lot of people is that there's no profits. As far as repercussions, guys, I'll be fine. I have mining equipment. I work a full-time job. I have over 15 years experience in IT. Infrastructure, I'll be good. I don't need to, and maybe it's a little easier for me to do this because frankly, I'm not financially dependent on the YouTube channel. I'm just not, right? I have been in the past, and we could have an entire conversation about that, but I think making myself not financially independent or dependent on the channel was probably the best thing that could have happened over the past few years. When it's happening, you don't realize that it's good, right? A lot of people are this is something that I've learned over the past few years. There are a lot of bad things that have happened in my life that it's taken a few years to realize why they happened and where the good was there, right? So I do understand that. I do appreciate some of the concern, but I'll be okay. I'm not that concerned about it, right? Miner for 9 said, crypto mining isn't for the faint of heart. So many rules and regulations exist that apply differently for different people. Even some Americans are prevented from accessing exchanges that other Americans are allowed to utilize. It is not even playing the field too far. Too many policies get in the way. Now, I've always had this, so personal responsibility, right? I've talked about this one. This one's always a difficult one for me as it pertains to crypto, because I think it does come down to the personal responsibility of the individual. And this is actually a perfect case. If you have, let's go like really grotesque, someone is blatantly scamming someone else, right? And then somebody exposes it. And the thing is that you can do this without, my point in this particular scenario is you can do this without government overreach, right? You don't need government coming in and telling us what we can or cannot do in cryptocurrency. You just need good people to speak up when bad things are happening, right? And then let's go down. A lot of these are positive, so I appreciate a lot of that. I think Bank said, is this young, impressionable male yourself? And obviously, no, I've been pretty consistent in saying don't purchase cryptocurrency miners in general, or Caspa cryptocurrency miners. That's because from an economic standpoint, it didn't make any sense, which has been proven out to be accurate, at least best I can tell. And then somebody said, did name them. I obviously named two right there. And so there you go. I did have some negative comments. It looks like a lot of those people have deleted them or they're not loading for me right now. So we'll do a refresh, see if we can pull some of those up, because we would like to address some of them if I can. And I think this is a good point. Jake said that the only way to stop the harm is to push the right education. And frankly, at the end of the day, that is what I'm trying to do. I feel like there's not enough education on this side of things, and I feel like it was getting heavy on the other side of the thing, the other side. And the reason for that is because of the financial incentives are misaligned, right? And so, like I said, because I'm in a position where I'm not relying on the YouTube channel for income, I can be a driver in the opposite direction. Now, am I maybe going a little hard? Yes, but I feel like I'm the only one pushing back in the other direction, right? And eventually the problem is if you look at like gaming, for example, right now with Ubisoft completely collapsing, there is essentially an echo chamber of developers and reviewers right now within the gaming industry. And what they are, and basically the video game developers creating a video game, sending it to the reviewers are giving a positive score, and the reviewers are getting incentivized by selling a copy with their affiliate link. The developers then think that their game is good because the reviewers told them their game was good, and effectively, essentially, the industry begins to collapse. And that's why you see Ubisoft collapsing right now. And what we have in the cryptocurrency mining space right now is that we have essentially the cryptocurrency mining or miner manufacturers giving the units to the influencers reviewing them. And obviously you're going to be incentivized not to be too hard on them, right? Because you want to get more equipment and make sales. Obviously you're incentivized to sell the unit. So they give a decent review, and it goes around that echo chamber between miner manufacturers and influencers. And the people that are out there buying through those affiliate links aren't being heard as much. Does that make sense? So eventually what's going to happen, and we have to be completely frank about, is that that entire industry of shitcoin ASICs is going to collapse in on itself, because there's only going to be people getting the miners for free and the cryptocurrency miner manufacturers. Okay. So the same thing is happening. You can see it in other industries and see it flowing over. So if anybody that is, an influencer or a manufacturer watching this now, you should hear what I'm saying, because what I am speaking is the frustration of the people that are buying your products. Right? And there's a ton of frustration surrounding it, because it is very clear that the BOM cost for the manufacturing of the units is not what the cost that I'm paying for the unit is, right? And then on top of that, it's delayed so long that by the time I get the unit, it's not even profitable anymore. And when I get the unit, you ship the unit to everybody else too, and so the difficulty on the network spikes up. And so these are the frustrations that people are having. There's a lot of other frustrations too, as far as miner quality has significantly gone down since this has become a more practiced event. I hear all the time, everything from Bitmain to Ice River to Gold Shell quality significantly decreasing. Whereas previously you could buy like a mini Doge 1 and those are still running today, but the latest mini Doges crash and start dying a couple weeks in, right? And this is something that as an industry professional, you should be paying attention to. You should be trying to get the honest reviews from your customers primarily, right? Retro Mike says, when I turn on YouTube and I see the same product being reviewed by every creator on the same day, I just get angry and shut off the app. Thank you. Come back later and dislike every video. And that's the other thing that I think a lot of people don't realize too. And you bring up a very good point, Retro, is that it's so obvious to a lot of people, you're almost giving yourself negative press, right? Because it's so obvious that you're sending all these units out to everybody to sell the unit. And it's just the viewer sees that and is like, bleh, right? I mean, this happens in the tech industry all the time. You open YouTube and it's like 5070 review, 5070 review, 5070 review, 5070 review. And then it turns into the mainstream media. Or my favorite lately has been Assassin's Creed and Dragon Age, right, on the video game side, because I consume a lot of that content, and every reviewer is like, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a return to form. It is. No, it's not. And the thing is that reflects in sales, but then nobody's paying attention to the sales. Right? So hashing Zappa or Hash Zappa said, you keep mentioning Caspa, but if you bought Caspa ASICs in 2024, you broke even easily. I'm not so sure that's necessarily true. I guess it would depend on exactly when you bought it. And he said, however, any Caspa ASIC in 2025 or any ASIC of any other project like Radiant or Lithium, it will ROI never. So maybe I saw it a little bit earlier than most because I did see it back when Caspa first started getting ASICs. He did bring up a good point saying that if anything, the early profitability of Caspa fed the ASIC scams of 2025. I would agree that could be true. And Caspa devs never promoted these scams, unlike the scumbags at Radiant or a dozen of other shitcoin projects. That's an emotionally backed argument that I don't know I can verify off the top of my head. Both Caspa and Radiant were pro ASICs. I don't know that one or the other. And I think both accounts, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think both accounts have shared or promoted or retweeted their miners, which I don't inherently think is an issue. That's going to happen, right? But see the sentiment. People need to start paying attention to the sentiment that viewers are having here, because this post blew up and a majority of people are agreeing, and you need to start listening to the viewers. Nelson said, 100% I refuse to watch anything with ads anymore. If you promote some crypto mining bullshit, I won't support your channel anymore. I'd even remove a lot of subscriptions to people who advertise this way. I love the creators who tell you it's literally bad, buy, but also do a review because they got it for free and give a link to buy it. Shows you they don't care about you. Now here's one that's I guess antithetical. Says, but if Bitcoin went to 180K and the altcoin season was soaring, the miners would be cleaning up. Not necessarily. There have been ASIC miners for small coins that have released and then not been profitable in the following bull run. Also, here's the other thing that we have to take into account. What we're seeing is not a similar altcoin season. And so I would actually argue that what we've seen in the past as it pertains to the altcoin market soaring no matter what and a rising tide raising all ships is not going to necessarily take place. And it will be the few and far between ASICs that are successful, which brings up the issue with ASICs in general that I've been preaching since the very, very, very beginning, which is ASICs by nature, from a business investment standpoint, lock you into a single cryptocurrency outside of a few like maybe an Ethereum, an ET hash ASIC, or, a SHA-256 ASIC. Or, obviously the script miners, which are probably the most versatile out of all of them. And the problem with that from a business perspective is that now that you're locked into that, you no longer have the option to move to another cryptocurrency that is successful in this particular case. So it's a poor investment, and that should be stated more. A single shitcoin ASIC on a single algorithm is a poor investment because of the lack of versatility. Big Shifty said, especially since these miners have been proven to be a shocking investment time and time again. Even RPM posted about 5-digit losses on the KSM 5M. Why would any influencer want to promote directly or indirect to their audience about these products? Well, because there's a financial incentive driven, right? Which is part of the problem. He also said, I have disagreed with your point of view on a few topics of late, but I wholeheartedly agree on this. I guess there is the River KOLs, which we'll talk about here in just a second, but we'll move on because that is what he's bringing up. So we'll come back to that. Lo-Fi said, yep, you're not the only one that they will get upset with. I don't know who's going to get upset with me. Here's the thing, man. Like, you can't be afraid of saying things because people are going to get upset with you. And I think like that is true in every relationship in your life. And I have shied away from things out of fear of people being upset with me, but all that is done is make life worse. That never makes life better. Being true to yourself and saying what you think and actually saying what you think the truth is extremely important now more than ever, regardless of who it's going to upset. Eric Crypto said, learn my lesson with Pied Piper creator down the BlockFi shit shoot. Yeah, BlockFi was a mess, obviously. That was one I turned down way back when. But only myself to blame. But I bet if back then I could have read what I just posted, I might not have moved a chunk of Bitcoin into an ill-fated interest-bearing account. And this is why I bring it up. And a lot of people, like, I'm not trying to make enemies. I'm trying to prevent this from happening to somebody else. Genuinely, 100%, that's why I'm doing this. End of the day. Is I want people to know what's going on when they get into the space. And I will be working on a new How to Mine in 2025 video that is going to address all of this. Now this is a pretty popular viewpoint, I think. He says, good words. However, at the end of the day, if these people not fall for the ASIC game, they would eventually fall for something else. If you're not grounded and don't have common sense, you will suffer. I'm not that critical, but if someone mentioned memes, it's an unfollow for me. Which I guess you should unfollow me because I mention memes all the time. And so obviously you don't want to take the fun out of everything too, I guess. But this is on the point of personal responsibility, which I wholeheartedly agree with. People have a personal responsibility for their own actions. Okay? But that also means the people that are promoting these things have a personal responsibility not to promote things that they know are harmful, right? Or to be transparent about what they're promoting. If I had, let's say, a cryptocurrency project, let's call it Doggy Coin, comes to me and gives me 100,000 Doggy Coin to make a video, and I make the video and I say it was sponsored by Doggy Coin, but I don't disclose the amount, right? Because here's the other deal that I think a lot of people get frustrated with. If I don't disclose the amount, which is typically in the agreement, you're not allowed to disclose the amount that you were paid to make the review. Just like in the Ice River agreement that I do have a leaked version of, it is stated that you are not allowed to discuss what your affiliate rate is with anyone else. So if you're not allowed to discuss that, but that clearly has an impact on the tokenomics of the project, is that ethically sound? Just a question. So here's another one along the same way that says the street runs both ways. The content creator with the affiliate code selling that, and you on the other end as an investor has to evaluate your own situation. Once again, we're talking about personal responsibility. So I thought they were more negative. There's a lot more positive. I think we had some negative ASIC ones, just general Caspa fanboys that were mad. Here, let's clear that up too, because a lot of people seem to think this is always a fun one. This is everybody's favorite, I guess. How long ago was it? It's always funny how if you word things in certain ways, people get upset. But this was on May 27th of 2023. Let's go here. And let's do this. So I sold Caspa a year ago, a little over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now, I think. Anyways, and I bought Bitcoin ASICs, and that's just because I saw this coming. So if you guys can lay that all to rest, don't worry. Selling the Caspa and getting Bitcoin miners was the correct move. Don't worry. It was fine. I'll be fine. You're never going to hit. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. You're never going to hit the top, the perfect top. You're not going to. So put that to bed. You're only going to get yourself in trouble. Look at the macro overall trends and play off of that, right? All right. So we have to talk about KOLs. So what is a KOL? A KOL is, and let me pull it up here for you guys. It's a key opinion leader, aka an influencer. So a KOL is a trusted, well-respected influencer with proven experience and expertise in a particular field. They are often considered experts on a certain topic whose opinions are respected by the public due to their trajectory and reputation they have built for themselves. And so we have KOLs in cryptocurrency mining. That was the term that Ice River was utilizing in their latest announcement. As a part of their announcement post mining disrupt, They have announced their KOLs. There are contracts specifically involved with each one of these creators. Serpent's in chat. I don't know how much he can share, but he is a KOL. And so if you are wondering which creators are going to be getting Ice River units, one, in the contract, I do know that some people only get discounts on the units. Some people get the units completely for free. And there are varying rates of essentially affiliate revenue for each individual creator. So Red Panda Mining and Voscoin might get a unit like a KS7, excuse the dog, might get a KS7 completely for free, while Rabid Mining might have to pay, 20% of the miner, or Geek of All Trades might have to pay for 80% of the miner, right? I don't know what any of these terms are for each individual creator. I just know in general that this is a varying rate, so it would be impossible for me to tell you which person is getting the miner completely for free, if any, or what the actual rates of what they get is going to be available. What does this mean for you as a consumer? It means that these individuals will be essentially getting paid for you to essentially purchase any of the Ice River units through these people, okay? So you should be aware that they will be incentivized. Once again, I'm going to be extremely clear and concise on the way that we present this. They will be specifically incentivized to sell you Ice River products, okay? And these creators are going to be Red Panda Mining, Voscoin, Mining Rabid, Chump Change, Mining Stacker, DJ Mines, Greater Good Mining, who's here in chat as well, Hobbyist Miner, Tech Hustler, Serpent, and of course, Geek of All Trades, okay? Now, to varying degrees of, how much that incentive influences them to want to purchase or to sell will be varying, right? So obviously, if somebody gets 5%, they might not be as incentivized as another individual that gets 25%, right? Affiliate revenue. But I want everybody to be completely aware that this is happening because Ice River has also announced their KS7, and that KS7 will be being promoted presumably by all of these key opinion leaders, and they will probably flood the YouTube channels, and you will probably have a lot of FOMO surrounding it, because by nature of the way these units work is when they're announced, their specifications look a lot more profitable than they will actually be. So the KS7 will launch. Maybe we have some, let's see, miner stat. Do we have any? Let's just get an example, right? I don't know if they already have these listed. I don't see any listed here. We can try hashrate.no and see if they have them listed. Let's go ahead and try to pull it up. I don't think they do have the KS7 listed. So, and is the KS7 launched now? See, this is how far behind I am. It might be that bad now. Shipping date will be April 15th. So I would suspect this will be obviously promoted by all of these individuals, and it will look like they are profitable from the perspective of it doesn't even look that good in general, right? $2.14. They'll be shipping in 2 weeks. And then we'll see where that goes from there. Now, there is the question of, are they online or are they not yet? And how many are online? How many more will go online? And that will be up in the air. Obviously, with these ones in particular, I would assume we have a Bitmain one not far behind, and Marathon Digital will deploy those in my humble opinion, you should be extremely careful with the FOMO surrounding these particular units because they will probably not be profitable for that long. So there you go. And those are the creators that you can expect to see content from in general. Now, Greater Good says that he does disclose if he's received a miner for review. And I get a small conversion if you use my code. Yeah, and obviously you legally have to do that. So that's good, because if you weren't, you would get in a lot of trouble. And you can also look this up. So for anybody that's curious, there is an affiliate marketing rules or whatever. As far as that's concerned, if you guys find any creators that are not following the rules or disclosing that information and you have proof that they received the miner for free or they received some sort of compensation and they did not disclose that in their video, please let me know and we will make the relevant authorities aware, because that's definitely something that should not be happening, and that is regulated by the FTC. Okay. And here's the rules on that. Affiliate marketing rules are designed, it's from the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Affiliate marketers must disclose their financial relationship with the products or brands they promote online, including blogs, videos, tweets, and Facebook posts. The disclosure is required by law to build trust with the audience and ensure that consumers are not misled by paid endorsements. And Greater Good says his particular contract does not sound like what you described. Okay. Well, I mean, and what I got, you know, is what I got. I can't see all of them. So individual contracts are, you know, going to be individual. So if you are in fact allowed to disclose how much your affiliate rate is, and all of that, then cool. Let me put this cat outside before he tears up the entire house. And when I get back, we're going to react to response, son of a tech, Pi Network will collapse from Mr. Brandon Coin himself. 1 second. There we go. I'm back. So, that is how I feel about affiliates. I will still work with content creators that do affiliates. I'm fine with that. I think it's a more nuanced subject. So I just think transparency across all of it is something I want to talk about. I do have a hard line. If you're accepting payment from a specific cryptocurrency project in return for making content, I will no longer work with you. And I think you should stop doing that right now. That's my opinion. I think it's terrible. Terrible, but let's take a look. So obviously I have an extremely viral video calling out PiCoin for being a multi-level marketing scheme. I still stand by that. I also think that it is essentially a data harvester for their KYC systems so that they can harvest your data and sell it to other companies. That's what I think Pi primarily is. There is no mathematical work or function being done on the mining side of things for the phone. It's a click a little button and basically the equivalent of playing the banana game on Steam. and I don't think that the price will appreciate in any meaningful manner because the fully diluted value is in the hundreds of billions, surpassing that of USDT, and the current circulating supply is under 7 billion, and we are having a bunch of unlocks over the past or over the next 3 years that will drive the price down. So any investment in PiCoin in particular is ill-advised. Now, I call it a scam. I think it is a multi-level marketing scam because it influences individuals to give you their referral link, and then they in turn get a payout by utilizing your referral link, or you get a payout by utilizing their referral link. And that's why I think it's a multi-level marketing scam. In general, the more people you get to participate in the network, the more basically the more money you make. So I think in general, that is what defines it as such. And then as I talked about, as far as the rest of it goes, I think the price will continue to go down just because of the tokenomics surrounding the project. And I think promoting it is ill-advised. Now, I just think in general, we'll see what Brandon has to say here. I don't have any personal issues with Brandon Coin at all. None at all. I think that some of the projects that he's promoted recently are dangerous and scammy. And that is because I've been in the industry for over a decade now, and I have seen these exact projects, including the cloud mining, the cloud Bitcoin mining app that he's been promoting lately. I have seen people go to jail over these multiple times. Okay. I've seen this happen before. I don't want that to happen to Brandon. Now, maybe he'll enlighten us here on something that makes me change my mind. Let's go ahead and see.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Brandon Coin YouTube channel. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is March 5th, 2025, just for reference. And a lot of people have reached out to me recently and sent me this video, and they're like, you need to watch this. You know, Pi's a scam. Is Pi a scam? Do we need to, delete it? What do we need to do? So I recently had done a video on the Pi network, which is a cell phone based. You log in, you tap it, you get some rewards. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to buy anything. But I figured, you know what? Let's do a watch along and address some of these points.
It's a review
and,
to a
and
review.
See potentially,
I don't know. Should we watch? Like, can we react to a reaction? Can I just see? I don't think I want to react to a reaction. All right. Let's see.
Did I miss something? I'm not gonna say that I'm perfect. I definitely am.
Yeah,
not.
This is hard.
But
this is hard. This is
big
difficult.
shout out. This video is actually from Son of a Tech. Have a ton of respect for him, and he's an absolute OG in the space. So please go over and drop him a comment. Make sure you're subscribed.
I feel like this is going to be terrible.
He's got lots of good content coming out. But let me flip this over here, and I'll mute my mic, and then when we hit a section with a talking point, or maybe we can dissect some of what's going on, then I'll just pause the video. So
I think I got really, really salty in this video too. Okay, so let's restart this. Let's go ahead. Okay, this is going to be ridiculous. Talk about the Pi network, huh? Let's speed it up. The Pi network, so I can sound like I'm on like I'm BitBoy Crypto over here. Just launched. Let's speed it up. There we go. Recently, and it is too fast. There we go. The reason we're talking about it is because some people say that you mine it. I think that's debatable. But in addition to that, it's...
All right, going off that one point right there, I don't think, I don't know exactly how they're set up, but traditional, like proof of work mining, you're not mining it on your cell phone. You log in, you tap it, and then you can close the app out. It doesn't burn any extra power. It doesn't use any battery. So it's almost more of like a faucet situation. So I do agree with him on that. Absolutely. It's not mining, but it's mining, you know? So anyway, continue on.
It's obviously performing extremely well.
Yeah, so I think that was already pretty stated. So then the question is, why the app at all, and why make you tap anything, right? And I think this is the question that you should ask yourself when you're downloading the app, is if there's no actual work being done on the phone itself, then what is everything's done for a reason. Then what is the reason for you to download the app and use it?
Here recently, going as high as $276, and it's up 62% over since its launch. And I think over the past 7 days, it had a pretty nice, or what was it, past day.
So at the time I made this video, is it, what did I say, 276?
Over since its launch. And I think over the past 7 days, it had a pretty nice, or what was it, past day, it had a really nice recovery, and it's up 73%, right? So obviously, if you're nice, or what was it, past day, over since its launch, $276, and it's up 62% over since its launch. And I think over the past 7 days, it had a pretty nice, or what was it, past day, it had a really nice recovery, and it's up 73%.
Yeah, 275.
3%, right?
That's going to be important
so
later.
Obviously, if you're
It's actually down quite a bit because the market is down. Pi coin.
It's going to keep going down.
Price.
It's down a lot
we'll
more than the rest of the market.
$1.82. So it's coming back up, but I was looking at it earlier and it did touch like $1.60 or $1.70 area, but it's definitely not.
Yeah. If you guys want to look at it today, we'll go ahead and pull that up. Today it's at 65 cents. So.
$2.70 like it was in this video.
Investing in this project, looking very good for a lot of people, and it's a unique project. So let's talk about why it's blowing up according to CoinDesk, and then we'll kind of talk about what the project is and kind of do a little bit of digging. But the token debuted at $195 billion value despite minimal liquidity. Pi's network native token traded with an initial fully diluted value as high as $195 billion US dollars. The token debuted at $1.70, and
well, Varus is actual work being done on the phone, Andrew, which is distinctly different than what we're talking about with Pi. Right.
It rose to $2 before losing.
I'm all starting to talk fast.
50% of its value in the next 2 hours. Pretty common, obviously, for new launched projects overall, but obviously it went up from there. So it currently has a market cap of $6.1 billion US dollars. Pi has drawn comparisons to viral tokens from previous cycles, for example, SafeMoon, with a referral scheme that gives early holders and referrers an advantage over newcomers. Now, someone that's been, a lot of people are asking me, like, why aren't you talking about it? It's a mining project, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I saw it, to be completely honest with you, I was a little off put, because I have seen SafeMoon. I've seen projects like this destroy people very quickly, right? And as of right now, it's looking good. It's going up. But if you FOMO in, you can be in a very precarious situation. Always remember, with these kind of referral cycles, especially when you start seeing content creators releasing their referral codes and pushing those referral codes on you to sign up with, you need to watch out. Because the only one that's going to succeed here are those influencers. And those influencers are going to get you to use their referral codes. What does the referral code give them? It gives them some of the token usually. What do they do with that token? They sell it eventually. So they drive the price of the project down, and they have no skin in the game because they're getting the damn thing for free. So don't listen to these hustling crypto YouTubers trying to get you to use their goddamn referral codes.
I still stand by everything I said here.
Dump on your fucking heads.
And what's happening? They're dumping on your fucking heads. Golly.
Retards do we have in chat today? Let me know. Does that mean the whole project's bad? No. It's just very frustrating. I see this time and time again, and people keep falling for it.
All right. So I guess the first main issue was the referral situation. It's could be labeled as like a scheme to pull people in. But isn't that what referral systems do? In my main talking point and my main reason why I was okay with sharing a referral code whenever I started this endeavor on my phone is because there's no cost of entry. There's no barrier of entry. If you have a cell phone, you can.
There's always a cost to entry. The question is, what is the cost? Just because the cost isn't there in front of you doesn't mean there's not a cost there. There was the cost there is your data and your access to your cell phone. That's the cost with Pi.
You can download it and you can be a part of the Pi network. It's not like, if I refer you, you then have to buy something. I don't make money off of you buying things, which I'll look up like the technical definition of like a multi-level or MLM, like pyramid scheme. Normally, you got your guy at top, the guy underneath him would have to buy something, and then that's how the guy up top makes money. But in this situation, whenever I I have a referral code, you use my referral code, you get 1 pie, I get 1 pie, and then we both get a small bonus whenever we mine our pie. And the more people you refer, the more bonus you get, along with if you run a node. Or
the more people you refer, the more you get. So you're like, that's how the incentive structure works. Like I could understand saying, well, because you don't buy anything up front, it's not a multi-level market. I could kind of see that point of view, but at the end of the day, it's still the same. It's still the same structure.
There's a couple other ways to earn bonuses.
Sounds exactly like a pyramid scheme to me as well, Kibo.
So
even the way he's
nothing to
explaining
do with buying. That's one thing that I looked into, because I didn't want to share a referral code that was driven by like monetarily them having to buy something. Actually, there's, from what I understand right now,
well, there's no reason to need anybody to buy anything in this scheme if the person above you has the capability of selling it. It's the same thing as Hex and SafeMoon, right? You don't need the buying mechanism, because the mechanism for making money is selling it.
If you went out and bought the coin and you used my referral code, I don't get anything. Nobody gets anything. It's only on the mining side for a bonus.
Well, DJ Mines, and this is what I've been talking about for, obviously the entire stream, is that the incentive structure with affiliate marketing in general, as it pertains to cryptocurrency, is problematic compared to other industries, because you are dealing with financial products. You're not dealing with products that serve a specific purpose. Right. So if I sell somebody a graphics card, for example, right, and I sell them that graphics card to play video games, it has a very distinct purpose that I sold it, and it performs that job, and then I get a cut from that through that affiliate code, that's fine. But if I'm getting a cut from an affiliate code for a product that is supposed to generate income, then that's where the actual issue comes in with affiliate codes within cryptocurrency in general. Because in the incentive structures then just naturally align itself to be leaning more towards scams and financially driven schemes.
Bonus for mining, and you still do have to check in and do your click for your mining. And both people get the advantage of the bonus on the mining and 1 free pie coin. So he seems really upset about people using referral codes, and I've always tried to be very careful about what I refer. I only use promote referral codes or use referral codes for.
Once again, it's a referral code tied directly to a financial product. That's the problem here in general.
Programs and applications and companies that I'm actively using. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I dropped Amazon. I no longer use them because I had a lot of issues with them on the back end side, referral side, for like the Amazon affiliate banned. System. No longer use them.
And Hawk, I would recommend you go watch either the clip later or the beginning of the show where I address essentially what you're talking about is personal responsibility. And I do address that.
I don't, push a ton of referral code.
Not in relation to Pi. So if we're gonna address personal responsibility in relation to Pi in general, well, there's already an issue in where the obfuscation here is that it costs you nothing, so why not do it? When in fact there is a hidden cost, which we aren't really clear on what that hidden cost is yet. So take, for example, the Honey scheme. I think some of you guys may be familiar with this here recently, but Honey was a Chrome plugin that you could install, and then it would save you money on the on different storefronts, whether that be Amazon or Walmart or whatever it might be, Newegg, that sort of thing, right? And then the influencers started sharing that all out. Well, it's free to use, you're saving money, so why not use it, right? There's always a hidden cost. We just don't know what the hidden cost is yet. It's clearly a hidden cost tied to a financial product. So therefore, you can reasonably assume that something is not fully disclosed here. And what happened with Honey is we found out that eventually what they were doing was they were replacing the affiliate link with their own affiliate link to generate affiliate revenue without telling anybody.
That I don't believe in. If I have a referral code, it's because I use that program and I do believe in it. And so far, I still don't see the issue with PiCoin having a referral system. it does bring people in. That's what referrals are supposed to do. And as long as they never add any way for, people underneath to buy, and then the top person gets a bonus, then it's okay by me. And also, it doesn't stack multiple levels. It's only a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I refer somebody and then they refer somebody, I don't get credit for that referral up underneath them. I only get credit for my referral, and then they get credit for their referral, and then the next person would get credit for their referral. It doesn't like go all the way up like a pyramid. But yeah. So as for him also talking about like selling pressure and people getting influencers, i.e. like me and I guess other people on YouTube, creating selling pressure and dumping it on heads, I was looking at Pi more as like a long-term situation, because I didn't get in early, so I don't have hundreds of thousands of these coins. I don't even have 1,000 coins. So I was just looking at it as it'd be cool content. It's low barrier of entry. Anybody can do it as long as they got a phone, and it doesn't cost anything. Which I guess goes with the low barrier of entry. So
I mean, the problem here is I think Brandon fell for it. I mean, honestly, like, I don't think Brandon did anything intentionally. I think he just hopped in on the FOMO with everybody else on it. Luckily, nobody got hurt too bad until we figured out, I don't know what's going on with the app itself, but hopefully nothing too nefarious. Hopefully it's just data mining.
Yeah, let's continue onwards. As for like dumping the project, a lot of people have said like, oh, it could go up a lot higher, it could go down a lot lower. What am I going to be doing with my coins? I can't do anything for like the first 30 days, because you do have to do 30 mining sessions before you can even apply for KYC, and then it takes another 15 days to move your funds from testnet over to mainnet. So I'm not doing anything with my coins anytime soon. And then we'll see what it's like in 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and so on. It looks like they have a lot of cool options coming up with their nodes and their super nodes. So see if they're actually going to build upon it and go from there. Regardless,
it's impossible for price to recover, Serpent, because there's too much unlocking over time, and the fully diluted value is still 65 billion, which is way over value. But the last week when we talked about it, it was over 100 billion, right? Which is just way too high, right? The market cap now is already at 4.44 billion. Most of the unlocks, from what I understand, are happening in July. And any of the large content creators that have like a ton of referrals below them, whoever those people may be, like, they're for sure going to sell right off the bat. So I'd say, by July, we're under 10 cents, but I don't like doing always take what I say as like a principled standpoint, right? Like, Caspa, I'm wrong about the exact price. I was pretty close to the top. Not fully, don't know what the bottom is going to be yet, because we got to wait till 2027. But the general, like, my overall understanding of the tokenomics surrounding Caspa and where it was going to head have been correct so far. Right. So, I just know it's going to go down. I mean, it's got to go down a lot by July, just because of the amount of unlocks, and there's no incentive to hold it. Right. So with Pi specifically, the only thing making people hold it is the fact that they force them to hold it. Right.
Let's jump back into his video. Sorry, this is going to be a long one, guys.
Dear Lord, man. All right. So what is it? Pi Network, the smartphone mining project that claims to have 60 million users, released its native Pi token Thursday, giving traders a roller coaster ride that saw the price rise 18% in minutes before tumbling 50% over the next 2 hours. Pi debuted at $1.70, rising as high as $2. It was recently trading at 97 cents. Obviously, today it's at 275. The initial surge sent the fully diluted value to as high as 195 billion, which it already talked about. So the FDV is based on the maximum supply of a token, not circulating supply, right? So that's 100 billion in this particular case is going to be the maximum supply of the Pi network. The self-reported circulating supply is 6.3 billion, putting its market cap around 6.1 billion. That's the current market cap, okay? Pi Network has drawn comparisons to viral projects from previous cycles, including SafeMoon, which also attracted a retail audience with aggressive marketing and referral schemes. In order for users...
I really wish I would have focused more on the FDV here, because it was glaringly obvious what the biggest point here was, which was that there was a maximum 100 billion in fully diluted value compared to a circulating value of 6.3, right?
Don't forget BitConnect as well. In order for users to begin mining the
All right. I was around during BitConnect. If you guys don't know what BitConnect is, it like elevator pitch was a platform you would log in and you would invest money, and it was almost like a not like a cloud mining, but kind of like a cloud mining. You would invest money and then it earns money through like interest, and they said there was like lending programs and all this kind of stuff. It was all fake. It was a pyramid scheme. If you referred somebody and then they bought in, you would get a portion of theirs, and then you would get a portion of anybody they referred. It was a straight up pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing, and it crashed and burned eventually because it just couldn't sustain itself. But it was big. It was huge years ago. But
what was the total fully diluted value of BitConnect? BitConnect, high value. I don't even know. What was it? It wasn't anywhere near like 100 billion. I don't know how to look this up because it wasn't like it was a token, right? Oh, it was a token. Okay, perfect. How do we look at their, let's see if we can look it up. BitConnect. You probably pulled it down, right? I don't know. We'd have to look it up. It wasn't anywhere near 100 billion though. Hey, Pearl, we're doing a reaction to a reaction. It is a little confusing.
Comparison from Pi to BitConnect, right now, just like rolling it off your tongue, huge. That is a huge accusation. I don't see the connection because
yeah, a lot of the Pi is locked in for 3 years. So it was like 2027 or something. So another 2 years. Price is wrong.
Yeah. Let's just go on further. I don't want to railroad this too far.
Pi token on a mobile device, they must first receive an invitation from another user. They are then issued with a...
You don't have to receive an invitation from another user. You can download and use Pi with no referral. So just to clarify that point.
Okay, that might have been an old article. I don't know. But yeah,
an invite code that they can share themselves. More tokens are rewarded for each of the referred users, creating an ecosystem that mirrors multi-level marketing or a pyramid scheme. Spot on. That's what it does. Okay.
Okay. Mirrors it on a like one level basis. This pyramid can only go down one level. And in this pyramid, nobody's investing any money. Hold on, let me ask my buddy ChatGPT. Can you have a pyramid scheme without investment?
I usually don't ask ChatGPT for
free,
anything.
Can it be a pyramid scheme?
But AI now with every search just brings up.
A free offer by itself does not necessarily make something a pyramid scheme. However, it can be a pyramid scheme if it often relies on people recruiting others into the scheme to make money rather than offering a legitimate product or service.
So it is. Listen to him again. He reads it here. We'll slow it down. Listen to that definition, by the way. I think that's really important.
All right, ChatGPT, no. A free offer by itself does not necessarily make something a pyramid scheme. However, it can be a pyramid scheme if it often relies on people recruiting others into the scheme to make money.
Yeah, so BitConnect at 3.4 billion. So Pi is a much larger version of BitConnect then. Pi's at 100 billion. 100 billion scheme compared to a 3.4 billion scheme of BitConnect. It's massive.
Rather than offering a legitimate product or service. If they are lured in by free and then have to pay, then it is considered a pyramid scheme. For example, if a company or program offers a free product or service, but the only way to profit is by recruiting others who also pay to join without a real product or service being sold, then it could be a pyramid scheme. The key element of a pyramid scheme is that it focuses on recruitment of sales underneath yourself, not the sale of goods or services initially. And those at the top earn money by having people join and pay below them. So if it's free...
I see the argument that he's saying. But then again, like the thing you're getting... The profit mechanism is obfuscated by the fact that you're getting paid when you sell the token. right? That would be my argument.
And 100% free, then it is not considered a pyramid scheme. Obviously, ChatGPT is not the all-knowing eye of everything, but that's where I'm getting hung up on what he's saying here. I don't know how we can have a pyramid scheme if it only goes one level deep and everything is free. There's no investment and there's no offer for or there's no bonus if people do buy the coins or invest. It's only for the mining. Now, touching base on the multi-level marketing. Multi-level marketing compensation plans typically pay out participants from 2 potential revenue streams. There needs to be a revenue stream below that supports the user from above. So there's no revenue stream. It's free.
No, that is the revenue stream is clicking the button in the app, and then they make a pie. You make a referral from that pie, and then the revenue stream is you selling that to the market. That's the revenue flow. My understanding of it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that like Pi Network is gonna revolutionize everything and it's gonna be the best thing since sliced bread, but I don't want to throw around the fact that it's the next BitConnect, or it's a pyramid scheme. By definition, it's not. So
I would disagree. I think the definition he read as far as multi-level marketing, it's spot on. Maybe not a pyramid scheme as far as like other people, but it's the act of selling the token that you earned from invites that makes it a multi-level marketing scheme. Let's go back here.
You're going to see, especially with the price right now, I think you're going to see a lot of influencers pushing this on you guys. And it's a Ponzi. And if this becomes as successful as BitConnect or SafeMoon, at least one of your favorite influencers is going to end up in prison over this, just so you know. Okay. And to all the influencers that watch my channel, I'm going to tell you, be careful. I've seen this happen before. And I've told people directly that have gotten in trouble doing this stuff not to do it. And I was right. This gets you in a lot of trouble. If you do it at low enough level.
Hold on. Sure. So I can potentially be in trouble for having somebody download and use an app that's free, and I don't benefit off of them buying something. Yes. I can end up in jail.
They always make a martyr out of someone. They always make an example out of someone with stuff like this. I don't think that. And hey, Brandon, welcome to the stream. So I don't think that. Well, if we're talking about like Brandon's channel in particular, one video on it, right, Brandon? I don't think like you necessarily. But if you have the Trayvon James equivalent to Pi, then yes.
What? That's wild. That's why. I mean, by these standards, I could be like, oh, anybody using any affiliate links, you're benefiting from it. If something goes wrong, then you're gonna go to jail. No, I don't know. That is crazy. Okay, he brought it up. He's like, clearly this was a Ponzi. Let's go ask my favorite buddy, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
If the service,
Michael Jackson popcorn meme.
I can't type or spell. It's midnight. If the service is free and requires no payment, can it be a Ponzi? If a service is genuinely free and requires no payment or no benefit from payment by referred users, it cannot be classified as a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme requires participants to pay money in exchange for the promise of profits or returns, often from the contributions of newer participants rather than from legitimate investments or business operations. In a Ponzi scheme, the key element is that people pay into the system, usually with the expectation of high returns later on, and those returns are paid using money from the new participants that were signed up, not from actual profits or investments. If there's no payment required and the service is truly free, it does not meet the criteria of a Ponzi scheme. Free trial offers that later upsell a paid service could be considered as a Ponzi scheme, and referral-based incentives that promote recruiting users in a system that requires a payment later on could be considered a Ponzi scheme. So, old boy ChatGPT also is thinking similar to me that it can't be a Ponzi scheme if it's free. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. Let's go.
Hadriana brings up a good point, says MLM is not a scam by just being MLM. Multi-level marketing is what he's referencing to. Project does not necessarily has to be a pyramid scheme to be a scam. Project, yeah. Well, so there's three things, right? There's Ponzi, multi-level marketing, and let's break it down so it's a little bit easier. Because obviously, part of what he's responding to is what I'm referring. Part of what you're responding to, Brandon, is what I'm reading out of the article. Part of what it is partly what I'm saying is, and then I could be utilizing the wrong terms. Let's be extremely clear right now. As far as definitionally it goes, Pi would be a multi-level marketing. By my definition that I am garnering from what you've read, there is an argument due to the fact that the money is coming directly from the money is coming, or the revenue is coming from the sale of the token, that in general I could say that it could potentially be not a pyramid scheme, but not definitionally a Ponzi scheme. There we go.
Go on further. I apologize.
Can get you in a ton of
Feel
trouble.
like a cat watching
quickly,
other cats watching you.
So exchanges currently lack sufficient liquidity to handle the billions of tokens being traded.
I think that's the biggest point, is going to be the fully diluted value, which is clearly coming true at this point, right?
In fact, even the most liquid exchange, OKX, has a 2% market depth of between 33,000 and 60,000. That means an order of, say, 100,000 would move the price significantly, creating a volatile trading environment. Market depth.
And I think in this particular video, I did a follow-up on Pi where I focused on the fully diluted value, and I think that's the stronger point than what the points I made in this video are.
Amount of capital required to move an asset in either direction. Based on the token's market cap, a 2% move would equate to a $146 million shift in the project's value. Pi Network has attempted to remedy a disparity between buyers and sellers by offering holders a lockup period, which can be up to 3 years. Now, what is already happening? What are they trying to manipulate? They're trying to manipulate the people that are selling and not buying. They're running out of liquidity to fill the sell orders, and so they're offering a lockup period to stop people from doing it. So if they're manipulating it to that point, why is this doing this? Because of the manipulation that they're having on the market and the unavailability of people being able to sell the token. So does this chart actually look good? No, it doesn't look good. This looks bad. Because as soon as there's an availability to sell, what's everybody that's been getting you to buy and use their referral codes going to do? They're going to sell. Felt like we need to address this because I keep seeing people that I think get way too many followers talking about this shit, saying stupid shit, and they're going to get in trouble. If you want,
I get
have
angry.
no problem with phone mining, by the way. If you want to phone mine, use a decentralized project like Veriscoin. Okay, all good. Go mine some Veriscoin. Take care of that stuff. I don't.
One thing I did want to point out to him, because when I first looked into this, I had talked to people that have been in the Pi network for a significant amount of time. The lockup period was not something that is new or they just came out with. The lockup period was available even before they launched mainnet and went on exchanges. So you could choose to lock up your funds to get an increased mining percentage reward.
But anytime you have those lockups, just in general, Brandon, like anytime you have those lockups, it's an immediate red flag because it is the project essentially trying to incentivize people to not sell. And if that is the only form in which they have to incentivize people to not sell, it's only a matter of time before the project dumps.
You know, 'cause saying that, oh, they're introducing this lockup period to slow people down from selling, it comes off slightly disingenuous as well, because you have multiple options. You don't have to lock up. You can lock up a small portion, more, so on, and you can do it, at anywhere from, I think, 2 weeks.
I think the biggest problem, though, here is the forced lockup until the switch to mainnet, which is what caused the big dump here that we initially saw, right?
All the way up to 3 years, and you can slide that scale across there. So it just feels more like along the lines of staking to me. If you believe in the project, then you can stake it and make additional rewards. The whole trouble thing, though, he keeps going back to the trouble thing. We can get in trouble. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it. I'm going to continue onwards.
Don't say this because if I really dislike the people, I'd be calling them out by name. I don't dislike the people that are pumping this up. In fact, I think they're just stupid. I think they're just stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They haven't seen this before. They don't know what they're getting into. And I think that's the position that I would take on any of this. I don't think that
I think I shouldn't say stupid. I should be nicer. I should say that I think that you just haven't seen it happen before, right?
Individual is a bad person. It's just not going to end well. It never ends well. It never ends well. Okay. It makes me mad when people fall for this stuff and then they get their entire audience into it and then people get screwed. So there's a block explorer. There is a node. We could go over the white paper. We could do all of that, but just the nature of the way they have the multi-level marketing for you to be able to mine in the first place is the biggest red flag. I mean, we could go through and try to like find other red flags. I don't know how necessary it is or how angry it's going to make me to continue to go through it, but it is what it is, right? Now there's a computer app that you can utilize, and
I think I see it on Brandon's taskbar right there, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see it.
With the Pi app on your phone from your computers.
I'm curious, Brandon, have you run like a WireGuard or anything against that just to see what it's reaching out to?
There is a node, which I think we had pulled up the release of the node over here somewhere, or no, this was the Block Explorer, right? So this is the node information. Okay. So if we go, we can download the node for Mac or Windows. It doesn't look like there's a Linux command line option at this point.
Yeah, I'm curious what traffic, I'm curious what it's sending to. And what it's sending and what it's reaching out to.
It doesn't say if there's an incentive for running a node at this point either, right? Let's see if we can see anything on their. No rich lists here. No, just okay. And then let's see if we got their.
The struggles of doing it
somewhere.
Wide. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, you can do it since you've already downloaded it.
Here you go. So it's a 2080 Pi token distribution with 20%
I don't know if I'm
gonna
download anything. I've been struggling with other network security issues already.
So the Pi community has 80% of the Pi core team has 20% of the total circulating supply of Pi.
I guess I could throw it in
circulating supply there is.
Throw it in a VPS.
In the Pi network at any given point in time, thus a given total max supply of 100 billion Pi the community will receive. So it says the core team's allocation gets unlocked at the same pace as the community progressively mines. So I guess it's a 2 to 8, right? So that would be a 4 to 1. As you mine, a quarter of that is unlocked for the core team. Okay. So what we would need to find.
Just to be clear, I think
they get the math wrong.
20% is not a quarter. That'd be 25%. I mean, it's like splitting peanuts at that point, but yeah, just a quarter of it is technically not 20%.
Find out then. So the pre-mainnet mining rewards were 20 billion, which means as of right now, 5 billion Pi is in the hands of the team already. And if we read this, if it was at total, ooh, that's rough. So 6.1 billion US dollars with the team currently controlling 5 billion. Is that accurate? That was at that price. No, double this price. Yeah, so they control 10 billion of a $24 billion cap. What's the cap now? Let's go look. We can just look at that. We don't have to ask. 18. I was close. I said 20. Okay, so they control currently 5 billion of the 18 billion in supply, I think. Currently. I have to do this math a little bit more, but they control 20%. But it unlocks as you mine it, but to be clear, they had a testnet mining, incentivized testnet. So similar to Fish Hash or KY, right? As far as that is controlled. It does require invite codes, and you need to be extremely careful with this one, guys. Another rug. So people always get, I think there's always this like misconception of like what a rug pull really is. In this case, you're not, it's the same scheme as like a BitConnect or a SafeMoon. It is essentially, it's not that you're necessarily getting rug pulled by the dev team. It's usually that you're getting rug pulled by some other holder of it, right?
Yeah, which is basically as the unlocks happen, people sell.
BitConnect!
All right, well, it looks like we're tapering down to the end of the video. Okay, so addressing the rug pull allegations. Will this coin rug pull? Can it rug pull? Yeah, it absolutely can. There's enough coins out there.
I don't think it can because I don't think the devs control. So a rug pull where you are from the perspective of like the developer rug pulling the project, no. Right? Because they only have a max of, I think what we said there was like 25%. That can have a significant price impact, but not like a full-on rug pull, right? Whereas like what you see on like your meme tokens on Solana, on like pump.fun, where it's like essentially the developer makes a bunch of obfuscated wallets, but it's really under control of the one developer. And then that's a rug pull where it just goes in red and they sell 100% of the token. Maybe there's like they sold 10% or 20% of it to the public first.
That could drain the liquidity. It could be gone tomorrow. But call me crazy. If you signed up for it and you used it and you got free coins for just clicking on something once a day, and it rug pulled and went to zero, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Just so happened, what if it doesn't rug pull? It is worth a little bit of money, and then you can sell it, right? What happens then?
Well, so there will always be a loser. Effectively is what the answer is, right? It'll be like if you sell it first, right? That's the that's really the actual answer at the end of the day.
I don't know. To me, it seems like an easy play to try it out. And
I understand the perspective though. So the perspective is I'm not spending any money, therefore it's okay. My question would be, then what are they making money off of, right?
Can't make some coins and then do something.
And then by promotion of it, do you influence people to purchase it?
Them later on. You know, I've been told that there's going to be more things in this Pi network that are going to utilize these coins. But just to throw out the fact that, oh, this is another safe moon, this is another Bitcoin.
Yeah, I know everybody wants to say it's data.
It's a pyramid scheme. It's MLM. And then also to say that, you know, influencers that are promoting it are going to get in trouble. All roads lead back to, I don't understand how anybody can be upset with free coins. They're free. You literally have to tap something once a day, and then you can get free coins. So, yeah. Now, if this goes to zero tomorrow, nobody that used my link lost anything. I didn't lose anything other than, I guess, essentially time making videos. But if it doesn't, and some people can sell some coins, then great, right? Like, I don't know. I guess I just don't see the issue.
But by the nature of somebody selling the coins, somebody else doesn't get to sell them, right? And then the question is what is the app doing?
I'd love to hear your questions, comments.
But I can back off on Ponzi, and I can back off on and to be fair, I'll back off on the Ponzi and pyramid. I think it meets the definition of multi-level marketing, even by your definition or Brandon's definition here. I still think from the perspective, I don't know what the app does, so I wouldn't like download on my main phone because I don't know what it's doing, and I just don't do that with any app. So I wouldn't want to do that, or onto my desktop that I use for primary stuff. But I'm pretty clear about that. Always make sure you're utilizing a Windows machine that has no tie to like any financial or personal information, right? And then if you still want to be participating, I mean, my suggestion would be sell it as soon as you get it, right? I mean, because if we look at the chart, if we look at the chart, like this thing's doing nothing but going down. So I mean, I guess my last suggestion is if you're going to participate in it, just sell it as soon as you got it, right? There you go. Thanks, Brandon, for the response. And I do think you still want to be careful from being, like, you wouldn't want to be the Pi guy. Like, you don't want to be the Trayvon James of Pi. Because if it does come out that the app is doing something that it shouldn't be doing, right, you put yourself in a precarious situation. I did want to read this. It talks about the crash that we've been experiencing. And so let's go ahead and get into this real quick. So in February, Pi Network burst onto the scene with the kind of hype most cryptocurrencies only dream of. The long-awaited mainnet launch of Pi Network finally happened, and within days, the token was riding high, reaching an all-time high of $2.98 on February 26th. For a brief moment, it even cracked the list of top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap, rubbing shoulders with the industry's giants. However, fast forward to April 2nd, and the picture looks far less glamorous. As of writing, PiCoin is trading at just above or just 66 cents, a steep 78% drop from its peak just over a month ago. The crash wiped out around $14.5 billion in market value, dragging its capitalization down from nearly $20 billion to just $4.56 billion. The picture gets even murkier when we zoom out. Over 124 million Pi tokens are set to be unlocked this month alone, according to PiScan. And this is just the beginning. Monthly unlocks will keep climbing, peaking at 233 million in July. Altogether, more than 1.53 billion new tokens will hit the market over the next year, pushing total circulating supply to 8.2 billion. That's a massive jump for a network that already sits at 6.7 billion in supply and is aiming for a maximum cap of 100 billion. At this pace, Pi is quickly earning a reputation as one of the most inflationary digital assets out there. Well, obviously. Meanwhile, exchange support remains uneven. OKX was the first major platform to list Pi, followed by BitGet, Gate.io, and MEXC, with Gate.io currently leading in trading volume. But the token still hasn't made it to the most tier 1 exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, Bybit. So, in fact, Bybit CEO went as far as calling Pi a scam, a label its developers strongly deny. So, what's really happening behind the scenes of the Pi network, and with more tokens set to flood the market, what can investors expect in the coming weeks and months? Let's break it down. And here's the problem. I guess, who are the investors? For all intents and purposes, I don't think there are any investors. Because, obviously, Brandon, you're promoting not even buying it, right? Just mining it, which seems to be what most people are. So there's no potential for the price to go up. Yeah. Behind PiCoin's steep price drops lies a web of internal frictions, issues that have less to do with market sentiment and more to do with operational breakdowns and silence from the people steering the ship. One of the biggest frustrations is a single choke point. KYC, know your customer verification, the standard process used to confirm user identity, has become a nightmare for Pi Network's vast user base. The step is mandatory. Without it, users can't migrate their mined Pi tokens to the mainnet, which means no transactions, no withdrawals, and essentially no access to the value they believe they've earned. And of course, if you are invested in this, you're worried about it. I mean, this is what's propping the price up effectively, right? Reports indicate that despite the open network launch on February 20th and the extended KYC and migration pace period until March 14th, the PiCore team has struggled to process the backlog for its estimated 60 million users plus. The switch from third-party provider Yachty to a proprietary KYC system was meant to improve scalability, but technical glitches such as tentative approval statuses that stall progress have left many users in limbo. Some estimates suggest that only around 14 million users have successfully migrated, highlighting a severe capacity issue. Social media platforms, especially X, are filled with firsthand accounts of Pi users grappling with this broken experience. One user shared how her Pi coins were initially marked as migrated, then unexpectedly returned without any explanation, leaving her stuck in a loop of reconfirmations and waiting. Another reported losing 1,427 Pi tokens simply because his migration didn't complete before the grace period expired, despite being in the queue the whole time. Now, one thing I also wanted to talk about here, let me close this, is that there's less in the market. So as this happens more, as they actually fix this issue, you would assume the price goes further down, not up, right? So what I'm saying is they're saying this is bad for the network, and what I'm saying is for the price, it's technically good. Stories like these have fueled anger and anxiety, especially among those who spent years mining the token with the hope of eventual access. What's intensifying the backlash is the silence. The Pi core team, often referred to as PCT, has kept its card close to its chest. There's been very little transparency on major aspects of the roadmap. Users have no clear update on validator incentives, the state of dApp development, or even what happened with the proceeds from Pi's domain auction. The truth may be far less dramatic, but the absence of consistent communication is allowing speculation to dominate the narrative. A user put bluntly that getting to new highs from here might be really difficult. And the fact is like the thing they think is going to get to new highs, which is more people having coins on mainnet, will have the opposite effect, right? Pi's network latest attempt to demonstrate real-world use came through PiFest, a global merchant initiative held from March 14th to March 21st. Framed as a campaign to drive everyday adoption, the event aimed to show how Pi could be used in practical settings, whether for groceries, clothing, car repairs, or digital services. On paper, the reported numbers seemed impressive. More than 125,000 merchants registered, including 58,000 active sellers, and around 1.8 million pioneers participated. But behind the scale, actual network activity told a different story. On-chain data indicates that payment volume showed little change during the event. As one user noted on X, the number of payments during the current PiFest has not increased significantly, suggesting that many users were hesitant to spend their tokens or preferred to hold onto them while uncertainty around Pi's future remains. The hesitation reflects deeper cracks in the ecosystem. Pi had previously committed to building a broad base of decentralized apps to keep users engaged beyond mining peer-to-peer transfers. However, third-party reviews show that only a small number of dApps are currently operational, and that those that exist lack meaningful utility when compared to platforms like Ethereum or Solana. Without a strong application layer, there's limited motivation for daily token usage. One of Pi's headline strategies was it planned integration with Telegram's crypto wallet. That's weird because isn't there Ton already? Anyways, initially positioned as a move to expand reach, the effort has not yet resulted in meaningful engagement or visible outcomes. Meanwhile, concerns around privacy are also being surfaced. Pi's KYC system uses a community-driven process in which users verify others using selfie videos and ID checks. I didn't know that. So it uses community-driven process. So you just have your ID and your selfie go to some other random Pi network user to verify? Is that true? That can't be true. That would be really bad. While this approach was intended to scale access, it carries risks. If reactions fail, personal information could be exposed, which has become a growing concern among users. Taken together, Pi's ecosystem still feels like a work in progress until the platform aligns real incentives for merchants, improves user confidence, and delivers functional apps. Mainstream adoption will likely remain out of reach regardless of how many users are technically onboarded. EL says that's no different than Binance, but that would mean you wouldn't be able to KYC in the US though, right? Which is, I don't know. Anyways, I'd have to look into that. That sounds like a security problem to me. Pi Network is entering what many in the crypto space describe as a critical utility phase. This is the point where hype alone is no longer enough to sustain value, and factors like real-world usage, developer activity, and ecosystem strength begin to determine whether a project will endure or fade away. History offers plenty of cautionary tales. Projects that failed to move beyond this stage, such as BitConnect, OneCoin, and even more credible names like Nem and Verge, eventually collapsed due to a mix of lofty promises and underwhelming delivery. Remember Verge? The cycle tends to repeat itself. It starts with early user excitement and rapid valuation growth, followed by delays in execution, and ends in growing skepticism and loss of confidence. For investors, the months ahead will be key. Focus on what is happening on chain, track how many wallets are actually migrating, keep an eye on token unlock schedules, and avoid reading too much into price movement without context. Unless Pi can show signs of genuine user activity, better token management, and a more mature ecosystem, any short-term rally is unlikely to hold. As always, approach the market with caution and never invest more than you can afford to lose. Now, this is a great example. I was just thinking about this. Because one of the narratives surrounding mining in general is this idea that you should mine the cryptocurrency and then hold it for a bull run and then sell it in the bull run. I tend to not believe in this one. I do always say HODL silicon, not cryptocurrency. And the reason behind that is I think that cash flow is king in general in any business. And I think especially with cryptocurrency here, especially when we're taking a look at Pi, I think the best advice is to make sure that your cash flow is good, which means to basically be selling the Pi that you get, because you really, like, at the end of the day, you can't guarantee that anything's going to go up. And as long as you're in the green, I think that selling is advisable. Now, once you get into the red, you could debate on how you want to handle that, whether you're going to do some put something up for collateral. Obviously, that's going to depend on how big your mining operation is, etc. But cash flow, in my opinion, is obviously going to be king in general. And I don't think that this idea of mine and hold or buy and hold is a healthy idea, because I think that idea lends itself to gambling. And I think once you start getting into that gambling phase, you end up in a position where you just keep losing money. At least my limited experience on this earth, that's what it turns into, right? So that's how I feel about it. Now, yeah, let's skip this one for now. Let's go to, we have a lot of topics to cover. Let me check the time though. 7. So we've been going for 2 hours. I'm getting to the tail end, I'm not going to lie, of my capabilities of covering anything more. I usually have a couple good hours per day, and I think I just burned them up with the stream today. I do want to cover this because it is in relation to, so there's 2 cryptocurrencies that are manipulating supply. And I thought this post was really interesting from Tonto, from the WhoSat network. I know that we've kind of covered them a lot more than probably needs to be covered. But they keep seeming to come across my my news. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about it. But they did release their 2025 roadmap. You can check that out in the description. But I thought this post was really interesting, and it brought up a question surrounding the market that I thought was important. It says, "At everyone, on another matter, I want to take a moment to address the issue that has persisted for over a year. False statements and misinformation meant to cause panic. Let me be absolutely clear. This will never be tolerated in our community as long as I'm the lead developer." I guess they're basically going to be banning people for saying things they don't like, which I tend to think is the sign of the downfall of crypto projects in general. So I don't know what's been going on in the community, but that's a little weird. It apparently is in relation to this. He says, "To set the record straight, the WhoSat network team has never engaged in price manipulation or artificially influenced market trends. We have never needed to push market orders to move the price in any direction." Now, he's talking about price manipulation on the exchange itself, right? So I did bring this up. Technically, he is correct. Price manipulation is the practice of spreading false information, engaging in a series of transactions in an attempt to make the asset appear to be in more demand, manipulating the perspective of the price, wash selling, or front running. And they didn't do any of those necessarily, but in the very next paragraph, he says, "Over the last year, I deleted and rebuilt the Discord server, burned the pre-mine, and introduced a developer fee in pursuit of a more sustainable project." So while there is no price manipulation at the exchange level, burning the pre-mine means that a certain amount of the tokens were burned and are no longer available, so therefore no longer in the supply, which means it will affect price, which means some sort of price manipulation. So it's weird that he would say, "We're not manipulating price," and then in the very next paragraph say, "Well, we're manipulating price," just in different words. I don't like it. It's so weird when people just expose themselves in their own writing here. It's odd to me, but I wanted to get, I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below as well. Like, obviously, is burning the pre-mine some form of price manipulation at the end of the day, or does it have to specifically be on exchange interactions, right? Yeah, and then following up, obviously they put in a developer fee which is a portion of the block reward going to the developer. Like I've said in the past, I'm not supportive of developer fees because it is a financial product. And it is a signal that I think that the developer is losing faith in their ability to sustain themselves off of the holdings that they currently have or the mining that they're personally doing, which is usually just a signal that the price is going to go down further and further and further. Just in general, dev fees, when they're introduced, typically seem to be a precursor to this behavior of the market, right? He did go on to say that as the lead developer, my priority is advancing HUSAT's groundbreaking technology, and we're excelling in that. One of our most significant achievements is our patent pending solution against brute forcing of nonces, a game-changing innovation that strengthens blockchain security and integrity. If that challenges certain expectations, so be it. We're here to build, not to chase illusions. Our focus has been and will always be on technology and innovation. The price is simply a reflection of how committed to the community is to driving the project forward. So obviously putting the weight of the performance of the project on the community itself. And then he said, HUSAT exists to redefine the industry, not to play market games. As a community, be mindful of your words and ensure that the information you share is accurate. Let's move forward together with integrity and a shared vision of the future. This is, I think, also in relation to the amount of bans that's been going on in the HUSAT network for people that are disgruntled with the progress of the project. Which just tells me that they're having a lot of issues over there on the project. But I really want to bring it up because I'm just curious what you guys think. Like, is adding a developer fee and burning the pre-mine, is that a form of manipulation or is it not? To me, it seems like it is. Now, there was another burn from Clore. And I'm actually pretty disappointed in this because, as you guys know, I was pretty excited about Clore because it is a product that I utilize to speculative mine. They said, we are excited to announce significant updates to the Clore AI ecosystem aimed at enhancing the project's sustainability, value, and fairness within our community. After careful consideration, we decided to burn 300 million on Clore coins or of Clore coins, effectively reducing the maximum supply from 1.3 billion to 1 billion coins. This important step aims to increase scarcity and enhance value for all coin holders. The burn will take place immediately following our upcoming hard fork associated with the transition to proof of stake. We will provide the exact date of this event in advance to ensure transparency and community readiness. So they're basically following the exact same business plan that Ethereum had followed. And if we look at Ethereum now and we compare that with Bitcoin, let's say, over the past year, you can see that Ethereum has failed to perform at the level of Bitcoin over this current cycle. And so I have a feeling that essentially Clore is going to follow in the same footsteps as Ethereum because they're implementing the exact same business strategies. Additionally, we are implementing a cap on Clore rewards per server. Specifically, rewards will be limited to 2x the rental price of the server. For example, if your server is rented out for $10, you'll get $10 from the renter, plus up to $10 bonus from Clore for a max total of $20 credited directly to your wallet. This limitation primarily impacts users operating very powerful server setups or holding substantial funds in proof of holding. Our intention with this measure is to increase profitability and fairness for the broader user community on our platform. What this signals to me in general is that Clore AI is having a hard time attracting not users, but essentially providers, right? So they're having a hard time attracting people to put rentals up on their website. So they're trying to incentivize them. That's what I would read this as, right? They do go on to say that these strategic changes underscore our ongoing commitment of enhancing value, fairness, and sustainability within the Clore AI community. Thank you for your continued support and active participation. Stay tuned for further details and exact dates of our upcoming updates. So there you go. The weekly rant said, I dumped Clore a while back. To be honest, never knew why, just CBA with storage. And I mean, Yeah, like obviously the big thing about Clore was supposed to be that you were able to, hopefully what you're going to end up being able to do with it is rent out your GPUs and then mine Clore in the background whenever you weren't able to rent your GPUs out. But now you only can rent your GPUs out. They've gone to proof of stake and they're manipulating supply to prop the price of the coin up, because they effectively, I mean, for the most part, you can get paid in like what, Bitcoin and Clore, but mostly you get paid in Clore because of the incentives on price. And, if you're renting out your equipment and you're getting paid out in Clore and the price of Clore keeps going down, well, you're probably going to go to a competitor like Vast.ai, right? So they're probably running out of people that are also putting their equipment on the network. Hence why they're putting these incentives in there, right? Now, Bitcoin miner Bitfarms secures up to $300 million loan from Macquarie. Bitfarms, a global computer infrastructure company known for its Bitcoin mining operations, has entered into a $300 million loan agreement with Macquarie Group to finance the development of its high-performance computing data centers. According to an April 2nd announcement, Macquarie's private debt facility will provide $50 million in initial funding for Bitfarms' Partner Creek data center project in Pennsylvania. The remaining $250 million will be released once Bitfarms achieves specific development milestones at its Panther Creek location, the announcement said. Once developed, Panther Creek will have nearly 500 megawatt capacity fueled by several power sources. Panther Creek will be sought after by high-powered computing tenants once construction of the project is underway, said Joshua Stevens, an associate director at Macquarie Group. The project is being delivered at a time when AI applications are fueling growing demand for new sources of computational power and data storage capacity. Bitcoin miners are rushing to fill the void and to secure reliable revenue streams for themselves in a post-halving environment. However, Bitfarms disclosed its recent quarterly report that it continues to face regulatory challenges in expanding its energy capacity, with the approval timeline ranging from 12 to 36 months. In the meantime, Bitfarms expects its $125 million acquisition of Stronghold Digital Mining to do much of the heavy lifting in providing additional capacity, CEO Ben Gagnon told investors, or Gagnon. There we go. Bitfarms mined 654 Bitcoin in the final quarter of 2024 at an average all-in cash cost of $60,800. Like other miners, Bitfarms has elected to retain a significant portion of its mined Bitcoin. Industry data shows it currently holds 1,152 Bitcoin on its books, placing it among the top 25 publicly traded Bitcoin investors. Miners like Hive Digital have doubled down on their long-term Bitcoin HODL strategy as a way to bolster their balance sheet. The company's Bitcoin holdings have swelled to 2,620. Meanwhile, Marathon Digital Holdings has accumulated 46,374 Bitcoin and has announced plans for a $2 billion stock offering to acquire more Bitcoin. Like Bitfarms, Hive Digital, Core Scientific, HODLing, and Bit Digital have also made strategic pivot towards AI and high-powered computing. Hive executives told Cointelegraph that the company has repurposed a portion of its NVIDIA GPUs for such tasks. They said AI applications can generate more than $2 per hour in revenue compared to just 12 cents per hour for crypto mining activities. Now, all of this is really interesting, and it starts to bring into question, like, if everybody's expecting this Bitcoin bull run and they're all holding their Bitcoin, should you be holding your Bitcoin? Like, I sometimes wonder if, like, I always say cash flow is king. And I'm wondering if right now the best plan is to just make sure your cash flow is good and to stop doing this Bitcoin HODLing strategy. I mean, we all expect like some sort of $210,000 Bitcoin price by the end of the year, myself included. But if everybody's expecting it, it's really going to come down to whoever sells it fastest. And that scares the hell out of me. It just does, because everybody's following the same business strategy. And if everybody's following the same business strategy, someone's got to lose. So whoever sells first is going to win. It's basically just playing Russian roulette with Bitcoin holdings right now. Here's an interesting one. Did you guys know that Trump is now affiliated with an American Bitcoin miner? American Bitcoin Corporation, a Trump family-backed crypto mining operation, has plans to raise additional capital, including through an initial public offering, according to an April 1st report by Bloomberg. This has to be a joke, right? We're joking? Is this real? It says on March 31st, Hut 8, a publicly traded Bitcoin miner, acquired a majority stake in American Bitcoin, formerly American Data Centers, whose founders include Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. After the deal announcement, Hut 8 transferred its Bitcoin mining equipment into a newly created entity, which is not yet publicly traded. While American Bitcoin will focus on crypto mining, Hut 8 plans to target data center infrastructure for use cases such as high-powered or performance computing. The deal evolves Hut 8 towards more predictable, financeable, lower cost of capital segments, Asher Genoud, CEO of Hut 8, said in a statement. So you can see this is the long term as two sister publicly traded companies. One that is energy, infrastructure, data centers, and the other that's Bitcoin, ASICs, and reserves. And together they form a vertically integrated company that has some of the best economics out there. Of course, that's how you want to vertically integrate. That's everything these days, right? According to Bloomberg, American Bitcoin is working with Bitmain, a Chinese Bitcoin mining hardware supplier. Bitmain has faced scrutiny after U.S. Blacklisting of its artificial intelligence affiliate Sofco, Bloomberg reported. For those that are not aware, vertical integration just means you control all forms or all positions within the manufacturing line, essentially, is the best way to explain it. So if you're building in mining, it works like this. We'll just do it with mining, right? You control the ASIC hardware, and then you also control the power that's powering the ASIC hardware or the power delivery, and then you also control the power generation, and that would be vertical integration. Now you could go even further into saying that not only do you control the ASICs, but you also control the manufacturing of the ASIC units, and then you could basically further vertically integrate. But it means basically being able to cover all steps in the generation of the Bitcoin, right? That's what it means. Anyways, Bitcoin miners are increasingly pivoting towards alternative business lines, such as servicing artificial intelligence models after Bitcoin Network's April 2024 halving cut into mining revenues. Halvings occur every 4 years and cut in number the half of Bitcoin mined per block. Miners are diversifying into AI data center hosting as a way to expand revenues. Now, remember last week, we looked at the performance of different public mining companies, and we found that the companies that were moving into AI data and high-powered computing were performing worse than companies that were just focusing on Bitcoin mining. And so, obviously, some of that could have to do with, them not being fully up and running with their AI data centers. But I think that we're going to have basically an overabundance of supply within AI processing and high-powered computing, and not enough of a demand. So I think it's actually the wrong direction. Once again, we see everybody mining and holding Bitcoin, and we see everybody trying to move into high-powered computing. Well, if everybody moves into high-powered computing, then you basically have way too much supply, and there's no demand, and that industry collapses on itself. And most of the demand for AI comes from large companies that are running their own data centers as it is. So there's really no third party market for that, at least at that level. At the level of how much power it takes to generate Bitcoin, you really don't have that much of a demand for AI. It is a very power intensive industry, but not as power intensive as Bitcoin is basically my point there, right? Now, Caspa did announce their Crescendo hard fork, and this is really exciting news for anybody that's following Caspa. People are expecting this to be bullish. I still think, tokenomics win out of everything else, and while news can drive the price up intermittently and here and there, I still think that Caspa has to deal with, basically Marathon Digital controlling majority of the new Caspa coming into the market, and just the amount of supply that's in generation. From a mining perspective, I'd be very careful surrounding Caspa still, just because I think the tokenomics don't lend itself to being profitable over the long term, especially with how quickly ASIC miners are being developed for that particular algorithm. I could be wrong, but that just seems the direction that it's going in. But the actual project itself, from a technical perspective, is doing very exciting things, with focusing on, of course, blocks per second over transactions per second, which is a unique approach to, basically the speed of blockchains problem. So the Crescendo hard fork node version 1 is out. This release signifies the fulfillment of all development efforts that have been poured into Caspa over the past few years, starting from KIP 1 all the way to KIP 15. It introduces the Crescendo hard fork, transitioning the Caspa network from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second, thus marking a significant increase in the transaction throughput and network capacity, as well as improved network responsiveness due to shorter block intervals, enhancing the overall user experience. Crescendo is scheduled to activate on mainnet at basically on May 5th of 2025, and they do have the links to their GitHub. Obviously, right now we're still sitting at that 1 block per second. Right now, it is going to be estimated to be coming in 32 days and 14 hours. And hopefully that will have, obviously, for the Caspa holders, a significant bump in the price overall. As we look at the KS7s coming from Ice River, you're really going to have to see a significant peak in the price of Caspa to make mining sustainable. As you can see, even the Ice River KS7, which is not really in full deployment yet and ships out on April 14th, is slated to only make $2.14 a day at 9 cents a kilowatt hour. Let's bring this down to like 7 cents, right? And like $10 a day in revenue, right? $5 a day. And the unit, if I recall, so the unit, the KS7, is going to be around $5,000. And then you can see here that's going to be about a 1,200 day ROI. But unfortunately, due to, of course, the quickly evaporating emissions and 90% of Caspa already being mined, the likelihood of you ROIing these KS7s is pretty low, especially if you consider the fact that that means that Bitmain will probably be releasing some sort of competition here in the near future that will outperform these on a specifications perspective. So I'd be really careful surrounding the KS7 launch in general, right? That's my thoughts on it, but you guys let me know what you think. I am done, guys. I can't do it. I have a lot more to go over, but my body's not going to let me do it anymore. I am probably going to turn off the stream and sit here in silence for a little bit until I can figure out how to get out of the chair. If you noticed, I've already gone into my hunched over position. But for those of you that are not aware, essentially my spine is fusing. So that's why you kind of start seeing me hunch more and more over. But I have 2 vertebrae fused, and there's one actively fusing right now, which just basically means the bones growing together between the vertebrae. And it hurts really bad, and I'm done today. So apologies for not being able to finish all the news. We have a ton of news to go, but I can't do it right now. So thanks, everybody. I start my new treatment on April 7th, so I'm hoping to have more energy and be able to get more content out for you guys there. They're telling me it's going to take 5 months for it to work. Hopefully that's not true, but we'll see. As far as the rest of this, I hope you guys see where I'm coming from. Let's push for more transparency in the market and in the crypto mining space. And that's really my goal at the end of the day, is to try to set a better example. And for all the other content creators in the space, even if that does mean some ruffling some feathers, I think it's the right thing to do. So that's why I'm doing it. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.